Good evening. Today, merong super typhoon. If you can hear, medyo malakas yung hangin. We are now in Bacolod. Nasa signal number 3 to 4 tayo. And as promised, magla-live pa rin tayo. And by nature noon, since bata Hello! We are live here. Tingnan natin, how far can we go? We will talk about epilepsy and low carb despite the typhoon. Patuloy pa rin tayo. So usually, hindi kami nakakatulog when there are times like this na bagyo. Because in case na merong kailangan gawin, at least we are up. So buti na lang, naka-low carb. We have all the energy that we need. And now, pag-uusapan natin about epilepsy and low carb despite Super Typhoon Odette na nasa signal number 3 and 4 tayo. If you can help us pray for the rest, especially sa mga nakatira sa mga bahay na pwedeng masalanta ng ganitong kalakas na hangin. So, it's really, really very strong. So, yan, brown out na. Meron pa rin ba tayong internet dyan? Yeah, ito pa rin. Let's make it para makita nyo ang ating pagmumukha. So, buti na lang meron tayong mga available Wi-Fi. Kung nandyan pa kayo, I hope you are well. So, epilepsy and low carb. Merong nagtatanong last time kung okay ba daw yung low carb sa taong may epilepsy. So, low carb o yung baba ng ating intake ng carbohydrates, ng sugar, is something na first discovered actually for epilepsy, intractable epilepsy to be specific. Yun yung para sa mga bata before. It was discovered in 1920s. So, nung 1920s pa lang, dun actually first na-discover yung ketogenic diet. So, it was labeled as ketogenic diet because yung ini-induce niya is ketosis. Kasi yung mga batang may intractable epilepsy, yung binigay na lahat ng gamot, and then meron pa before lobotomy, yung binubutasan yung utak just so makontrol. Kasi nang nangyayari sa epilepsy, merong random firing of neurons. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi active yung brain, parati lang itong na-activate. So the muscles and everything sa katawan parang nasi-stimulate. Para siyang masasabi mong sa kuryente is naka-on lang siya parate, na supposedly hindi naka-on. So, yun yung concept ng epilepsy. Kaya yung importanteng mga gamot doon sana is to control the nerve impulses para matigil yung continuous na nerve stimulation. And then, yung nakita nila, actually, they discovered ketogenic diet by accident. Kasi nakita nila before, akala nila yung mga batang nagkakaroon ng epilepsy, nagsi-seizure, akala nila napoposes ng mga spirits. Kasi nung unang panahon, hindi pa naman ganon ka-scientific. So, kinukulong nila yung mga bata. And then later on, they found out that after 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, yung pagkain, kinukulong nila in the dungeon, kumakalma. So, nawawala yung seizures. And then later on, they studied na nung nangyayari pala is they put the children into fasting mode para sana ma-cure from spiritual possession, yung parang na-possess. And then, doon pala, na-discover nila that ketosis comes in naturally. Ibig sabihin, the moment you remove the food intake sa isang tao, for this story, for this history ng ating kasaysayan in 1920s, yung nangyayari doon, yung mga bata, they already start breaking down fats and uses fats as energy in the form of ketones. So yung nangyayari, instead of fueling on glucose, that for the longest time, yung utak parating naka feed on glucose, for the first time, it's now using ketones. So nangangailangan na siya, gumagamit na siya ng alternative energy. And that alternative energy is ketones. And nakita nila that an epileptic brain, that the brain that is on seizure, yung parating super stimulated, it actually calms down. Kumakalma siya when it is being fed with ketones. So, dun unang na-discover yung ketogenic diet. Kasi alam natin, hindi ethical na ilagay mo sa fasting yung mga bata, especially children. Hindi ethical kasi kung hindi yan properly controlled, pwedeng ikamatay ng bata yon, yung pagpa-fasting. Hello, Faye! I can see you. Thank you so much. Oo, we have to pray for the whole Philippines, especially yung nasa Visayas, because yun talaga yung nasalanta ng bagyo. I think we have a live broadcast here. Nasaan na kaya siya ngayon? Feel ko na siya ngayon dito eh. So, nandito na nga siya. Oh, medyo malapit na siya. No? So, tingnan, pakita ko sa inyo. So, this one, ay, hindi. Mukha ko pala yan. Wait lang. This one, yan. Basta, sobrang laki ng bagyo. Anyway, we will continue our live while kaya pa, while we still have our battery. Tapos yung, actually, nagcha-charge lang ako kasi low bat na. Anyway, yun. And then, since they know that putting the children on fasting is not ethical, so naghanap sila ng paraan kung paano ma-induce yung ketosis, na yung katawan ay magpo-fuel on ketones kahit hindi naka-fasting o kahit hindi nag-aayuno yung mga bata. And that is when they discovered na through dietary management, kung tatanggalin mo lang pala yung carbohydrate sa pagkain, bababa yung blood sugar ng isang tao. Pagkatapos bumaba ng blood sugar, bababa rin yung kanyang insulin. And the moment pala na mababa yung insulin sa ating katawan, hindi siya nakakatakot. It will actually just allow the natural course of fat burning. Kung sa biochemistry yan, it's fatty acid oxidation. So, oxidation is the process of producing energy. So, pwede siyang glucose oxidation, galing sa glucose, or fatty acid oxidation. So, yun yung nangyayari. And that is when they saw na yung mga bata na sobrang tagal na hindi makontrol sa gamot ng epilepsy, sobrang tagal na hindi magamot ng seizure, actually improves with ketogenic diet specifically. So yung ketogenic diet is a subset o isang klase ng low carb that is specific high fat, low carbohydrate, and yung proteins naman is moderate. So hindi kailangang sobra-sobra yung protein. So for this specific na disease, kailangan yung proteins hindi sumobra. because kapag sumobra yung proteins for this specific illness, pwede siyang magkaroon pa rin ng glucose metabolism. Although hindi naman ito lifetime. At mayroon lang kailangang i-adjust because for those na nag-ketogenic diet, merong risk of developing stones sa mga iba na puro sobrang taas ng meat intake, meron sila nakitang maliit lang naman na incidence of stone formation, kidney stone formation. But this is easily addressed with the right potassium citrate supplementation. So, ang maganda dito is for those na parang akala natin na wala ng pag-asa, if you have not watched the documentary of anong title nun? Fat, the documentary. It was a documentary ng isang bata na pinanganak na merong intractable seizure. Ilang beses nang naoperahan at lahat-lahat. And to think yung parents ata niya is parang doktor din. Yung papa niya is I think orthopedic surgeon. And then they were provided with the best medical care in the US. And then hindi, iba pala yun. Parang producer, isang Hollywood producer pala yung papa ng batang yon. And then iba pala yung story ng isa yon. I think sa Magic Pill yon yung isa, yung anak niyang type 1 diabetic. So this one, merong intractable seizure na hindi talaga maayos-ayos. And then they were already very desperate. And then I think it was like a blessing na yung papa na yon pumunta sa library ng ospital. And then right there, nakita niya. It's like parang answered prayer or parang destiny talaga. Nakita niya doon yung protocol for seizure na using ketogenic diet way back 1920s. And nung nabasa niya yon, it was really done multiple times. And even now, if you will search on Google Scholar, that is where you can find the journal articles. It is considered as a therapeutic nutrition approach para sa epilepsy. Although, I understand, hindi basta-bastang nire-recommend, especially pediatricians, because as doctors, we only recommend kung ano yung meron kaming pinaka malawak na experience or longest experience. And right now, the way medicine is being practiced, it's mostly pharmaceutical based. So our training is mostly geared towards pharmacology, kung ano yung pinakitas na gamot, kung ano yung nagawa sa clinical trials, and then kung ano yung mga surgeries na pwede. And unfortunately, walang masyadong research nang nagpo-focus on nutrition lang. But don't worry, that is about to change. Kasi ngayon, dumadami na talaga na merong nagsusupport ng mga research of proper nutrition and proper lifestyle management para sa we understand how it is actually good to lower diabetes, lower the blood sugar of diabetes. Marami na tayong pasyente and also the enrollees of the masterclass who are now on remission. Ibig sabihin, for the last year, 1 year na walang gamot, and then their HbA1c is normal, their fasting blood sugar is normal without medicine intake. And that is done through guided way. Merong mga low carb doctors na nag-guide sa kanila, and then they are constantly monitoring and they know what's happening with their bodies. That is something that we also provide in our low carb and fasting masterclass. As much as possible, we want you to do it the safe way, the best way, para wala tayong risk. So, this episode, again, is just for educational purposes. That is yung epilepsy or yung seizure, yung pagkukumbulsyon, yun yung parang term natin usually, are actually helped by basically ketogenic diet. You can search on it and you can see how amazing it is. Sana meron akong gagawin, magbubukas sana ako ng box. Kaya lang sobrang dilim na, hindi na ko na makikita. So magkwentuhan lang tayo. Kidney stone, anong dapat gawin at overweight? So kung kidney stone of low carb, if your low carb diet and ketogenic diet is not done the right way, there's actually a risk of 10% na pwede kayong mag-develop ng kidney stones. But if you are overweight at merong kidney stone, I guess nagka-kidney stone kayo based on your high carb diet pa lang. So hindi natin sisisihin si low carb kasi actually konti-konti lang yung nagkakaroon ng kidney stones coming from low carb, especially if it's not done the right way, the best practice. That is hindi balanse. Whenever we say hindi balance, on yung definition of a balanced diet is merong kanin, merong fruits, merong vegetables, merong maliit na karne, merong kakaunting dessert. But now, we consider a balanced diet is actually having a very low carbohydrate but merong siksik sa vitamins and minerals. So, kung you think that you are not yet well equipped, tanong ang ating mga coaches and ating mga participants in our masterclass tulad ni Coach Den, and tinag din niya si Mami Ruth, pati si Lilay, and also Jazzy Torres. Alam nyo, mga pasyente ko actually sila. So, sobrang ganda. Kung gusto nyo malaman yung kanilang story, you can search their name. Nagkaroon na kami ng Q&A, ng live interview with them. So, malalaman mo kung gaano ka-amazing yung mga stories nila. Ni Kuya Jazzy, na 20 years diabetic, 10 years on insulin, and in 3 months, he was able to wean off from those medications and was able to maintain. Nasa, ano ba yon? Nasa 50 pounds weight loss siguro. But more than the weight loss, nawala rin yung kanyang OSA, obstructive sleep apnea, yung kanyang hypertension at yung kanyang blood sugar is bumaba na never bumaba noon kahit naka-insulin siya before. Mami Ruth also from pre-diabetic in just 2 months ba yon? And yes, of course, si Coach Den din. Meron, ano ba yon, Coach Den? Was it myasthenia gravis? Was it myasthenia gravis ba before? And many other autoimmune diseases na na-improve. And thank you, we really thank you for supporting us by joining our masterclass. Kasi sa pag-join niyo ng ating masterclass, that is actually allowed us. That's the reason why we are able to do what we do and help as many more. And eventually, don't worry, we will surprise you and you will know kung paano kayo makakontribute in making this advocacy available for as many people as possible. Soon yan. Sabi ni Annie Porras, anong gagawin pag sumasakit yung ulo habang naka-low carb? Try to check your salt intake. Kasi baka nung nag-low carb ka, takot ka pa rin sa asin, takot ka pa rin sa red meat, takot ka pa rin sa fats. So, you really have to study more. And if you want, we already made a lot of videos about that, especially on electrolytes. So, with epilepsy and low carb, yes, they can go together. And I'm not saying na hindi nyo na iinumin yung inyong gamot. Okay, it should be done the right way, the guided way. Work with your doctor. Try to ask them if ever tumatahan na yung seizure episode, if pwede bang mag-step down, wean off a little from these medications, you can talk to your doctors. Of course, they will be happy to assist you. Kahit hindi pa sinasabing, like for example, 2 tablets, sasabihin nyo, what if the symptoms is subsiding? Is it possible to lower down to half dose or half tablet o ano man? Always work with your trusted physician para magabayan kayo, because medications related to epilepsy, hindi ito pwedeng basta-basta ang kunin lang because it might result into a rebound. So dapat do it the guided way. But just so you know, ketogenic diet was first implemented in intractable epilepsy. Yun yung kind of epilepsy or seizure disorder na kahit gaano naka-maximize yung dose at marami ng mga iniinom, lahat-lahat na lang. Meron pang mga nung unang panahon, meron pang mga electric shock na parang pinapatigil mo na yung yung utak, parang ini-induce yung coma tapos pinapaandar ulit only to find out that it's still not working. So kawawang-kawawa yung napagdaanan ng mga bata noon. And just like so many other things, natabunan lang siya. Tatanungin nyo, kung totoo yan, bakit hindi yan sumikat? Bakit hindi yan namin alam? Bakit hindi yan pinapractice? sadly, there is still business in many things. Okay? Marami and sadly, nutritional therapy, wala po talagang makaka-benefit dyan. You can do low carb on your own na pwedeng walang magnegosyo. And that is why this time lifestyle modifications actually it's not going to be very popular, so even if kayo ay nanonood ngayon, salamat for watching live, hindi ito magiging mainstream talaga, although we don't lose hope. That's why ginagawa pa rin natin what we are doing now in hope that we can reach as many people as possible. Pero sa totoo lang, sobrang dami na. For the last 100 years, sobrang dami ng doktor na nag-try talaga to be loud about the benefits of low carb nutrition for diabetes, avoidance of carbohydrates at all cost. So, pero ito ay natatambakan pa rin ng pharmaceutical, pharmacological management because yung totoo nga, wala talagang business when it comes to proper nutrition. Kasi yung proper nutrition, kayo lang bibili niyan. In fact, walang products na pwedeng kailangang ibigay, walang supplements na kailangang ibigay. If you will just plan your meals ahead, kahit vitamins hindi ka mangangailangan. So it is a knowledge that you own. And I think I'm happy and nagpapasalamat tayo that we are in this time na hindi talaga natin pigilan yung impormasyon na lumawak because we have people who are experiencing it themselves. Kahit pa nung una nilang nakita ito, hindi sila makapaniwala at parang galit na galit sila na inaaway natin yung kanin, inaaway natin yung saging, oatmeal, yung honey. But it gave them this curiosity. They tried it themselves and nakita nila in a matter of 3 days, they lost their water weight and then nakita nila na they feel good about it. Although it might not be sustainable if you are not making sure na you are eating enough nutrients and then making sure yung electrolytes mo ay tama, because if that is the case then you are bound to fail and sayang na sayang. Yes, grabe po no, can you hear? Naririnig nyo ba? Grabe talaga yung hangin. So yeah, we are just going to sustain this night na mag-usap-usap lang tayo. Okay? Yung si Maming gumawa siya ng ano nga yan, Ming? Anong tawag diyan? Oo. Oo, na mga si Maming marunong siyang gumawa ng parang lamp, yung homemade lang na lamp. In Ilonggo, tawag namin diyan kinky. Kakatuwa, no? Parang kinky. But no. Kerosene lamp. Oh, natumulang. Actually, marunong kaming gumawa niyan. Yun na nakakatuwa nga. Nag-usap kami last time na kahit hindi namin napapag-usapan magkakapatid, but marunong kaming gumawa ng kerosene lamp from scratch. Like, galing sa, and then bubutasan yung isang garapon, and then lalagyan cotton na thread. So, ngayon, si Maming, since alam niya magba-brown out anytime, gumawa na siya ng tatlo kasi wala na rin kami niyan for the longest time. At lumabas na yung aming mga scented oils. Parang Christmas Eve. Di ba? Christmas natin sinisindihan yan, Dottore. Is that cinnamon? Yun ba yung cinnamon? Cinnamon. Although ayoko ng cinnamon, pero okay na lang. So, yes, for those na gusto pong mag-enroll, you can chat our group na admins na nagma-manage ng ating masterclass. So, LCF Masterclass, ilagay ko dito, LCF Masterclass. Search nyo lang po na yan, by yours truly, Josephine Grace Rojo MD. Okay? Grabe yung yung hangin. Sobra talaga. So, yeah. Kasi wala rin kayong magagawa because it's so dark here na aabutan talaga tayo ng brownout, no? So, akala ko dati meat at chick ang nakakapagpa-high blood. Hindi ka nag-iisa ron na. Actually, yun din ang karamihan. Kaya yung kinukwento natin, di ba, na after the holidays, people are blaming the lechon, the ham, the meat, the chicken, kasi sa tumataas yung kanilang BP, sumasakit yung kanilang batok. only to see right now na never nyo naman silang kinakain alone. So how can you just blame them? In fact, kapag kumain kayo niyan, on top of your soft drinks, your rice, your dessert, yung ano yun, mango float, ano pa yan, crema de fruta, leche flan, cakes, and many more. Buti na lang, meron na tayong mga low carb cakes and goodies for holidays. Kasi as much as possible, we don't eat these times a day all year round. Food, although they are low carb, but they can also be inflammatory. At kung hindi man sila inflammatory, they can induce certain cravings sa atin na hindi ganon ka-sustainable. So we keep on craving foods that are not good for us. Kaya dapat if you go for low carb, make sure it's nutrient dense low carb, especially sa yun, so mga merong epilepsy, try to avoid muna yung mga goodies. Make it simple. Pinakasimple lang. So ano yung simple lang? Alam niyo na yon. Ulam, gulay, electrolytes. So if hindi siya nabebelong sa ulam, gulay, electrolytes, might as well avoid it. So ang pinakasimple niyan, ulam, kahit anong ulam. You can have pork, fish, chicken, beef, itlog, and then kung hindi yan enough, kung hindi nyo kayang kumain ng puro ulam lang, then you can dilute it. Pwede kayong mag-add ng gulay if you want. And make sure lagyan ng asin. Salt is essential. Huwag matakot sa asin. Mas matakot sa sugar. Mas matakot kayo sa mga matatamis. So, yun lang muna for now. Pero since wala naman tayong gagawin, maglalag lang tayo. Kwentuhan lang tayo. I'm not sure if nandito yung other admins, no? Because I think nasa kanilang bahay na rin. Hello, Coach Manette! Hello! Thank you so much. Tingnan niyo si Coach Manette. Yung kanyang profile pic is magkatabi kami. Kasi na siya yung pumunta. Isa siya sa ating pioneer batch. Oo, parang family na rin natin yan. Kasi way back 2019, 2020, early 2020 pa ata yung connection namin ni Monette. And thank you so much. Also, Rochelle, salamat. Mataas creatinine ko. Pwede pa rin bang mag-low carb? So, sagot dyan, of course. Kaya nga tumaas yung inyong creatinine kasi naka-high carb kayo eh. Sa totoo lang, di ba? It's regardless of your protein intake. There is greater influence yung pagka-damage ng ating kidneys because of too much sugar. And yes, partly too much uric acid. But uric acid production, overproduction of uric acid is hindi lang yan directly related sa protein intake. Okay? Pwede yang related sa inflammation talaga na nangyayari sa ating atay. And the number one cause of inflammation is too much insulin resistance na nagagaling mostly sa sugar, carbs, and at the same time, the inflammatory oils. So ano yung inflammatory oils? Sagot kayo sa comments para tulungan nyo naman yung iba na ngayon pa lang nakakanood. So, inflammatory oils, maraming nasasaktan at gulat na gulat. Canola oil. Canola oil is actually inflammatory kasi sobrang taas ng kanyang. Yes, it has some degree of omega-9 that is good, pero hindi worth it yung omega-9 dyan because of too much omega-6 na nandyan. So, very good, Bernadette. Maraming salamat sa pagsagot. So, canola, what else? Other seed oils, meron yung toxic 8 eh. Meron yung toxic 8 na sinasabi natin. Seed oils, very good, Bernadette. Ang galing. So, ano pa yung mga oils na yon? Other seed oils, sunflower, safflower oil, very good, James. And Leia. Yeah, hoy, coconut oil is good Hindi nakakatakot yung coconut oil, basta totoong coconut oil. Soybean oils, coconut oil is good. Sunflower oil, yes, tama yan. Vegetable oil, although yung ibang vegetable oil pala is also coconut. And, tingnan nyo yung detail, baka hindi naman totoong, hindi naman totoong coconut oil yon. Dapat coconut. Yes po, tama si Coach Lilay. Grapeseed oil is also an inflammatory oil. So, with epilepsy, yung iba nagsusupplement tayo ng virgin coconut oil. Actually, there is a study supporting supplementation with virgin coconut oil, VCO, or MCT oil extracted from virgin coconut oil. So, I think I already made a video about that sa mga hindi pa napanood noon. MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride, is actually a component of a virgin oil. So, virgin coconut oil, sobrang dami yan. Merong laurine, merong lauric, maraming oils na nandyan. And yung MCT, yung medium chain triglycerides component of, say for example, a 100 ml of VCO, nasa 50, 56, 55% dyan yung MCT oil. So, yung ginawa ng iba, in-extract nila yung MCT component because MCT oil, long chain, kasi medium chain, di ba? Merong short chain, medium chain, long chain. Okay? Depende yan sa number of carbon atoms or molecules na nandyan. So, it's as medium chain triglycerides. Ito yung kind of triglycerides na readily converted into ketones. So, hindi sila nasustore as taba sa katawan. So, if you are already in ketosis, you are already using nutritional ketosis kasi naka-low carb na kayo, and then nagsisimulang, for example, and then, for example, meron kang competition, just like Mami Ruth before, na meron siyang dance sport competition at the age of 71 at nanalo siya in the USA. Sobrang galing. So, nag-MCT oil siya during the event. Hindi siya nag-ano yon, yung iba merong mga granola bars o yung mga candy o yung mga chocolates para merong energy. Yung sa kanya, since she's already fueling ketones, yung ginawa niyang supplement is MCT oil. So, MCT supplementation and VCO supplementation is not necessary for everyone. Specific lang talaga yung mga nangangailangan yan. But if you're just doing your day-to-day work, day-to-day job, hindi kailangan mag-supplement yan. Ako, the last time I took laurine oil or MCT oil is yun lang nung nag-exam ako. Yung nag-exam ako na nag-fasting ako ng 6 days before my exam. So, kumuha ako ng exam na naka-fasting ako. So, what I did to make sure lang na meron akong adequate ketones to fuel my brain. So, yung iba, no, hindi maka-imagine, no? Paano ka makukuha ng exam o paano ka mag-aaral nang wala kang kain. Actually, I perform and I am at my best when I am fasting. I've been into fasting and low carb for 3 years now. And so far, alam ko na my body is metabolically flexible enough and it's actually stabilizing in ketones as of energy and glucose. If I'm eating like not so low carb, high fat, like very high protein, and then yung carbs is medyo hindi ganun ka-low carb, like liberal low carb, or na ma-maximize ko yung 50 grams of carbohydrates to which gagawa. And I know I'm out of ketosis. Hindi ako naka-ketosis. I'm fueling on glucose as well. I become lazy. Parang ang sobrang lazy ko. I'm not very productive. I feel like I'm not very productive if I'm not fueling on ketones. So right now, am I fueling on ketones? Kain ako ng marami. Yeah, kasi yung kinain ko, pork lang. So, as long as it's low carb, you don't feel groggy, you don't feel weak, you don't feel sleepy. That's the magic of low carb nutrition. And yes, laurine or MCT oil, hindi siya necessary for everyone. Meron lang siyang specific indication. Just like a ketogenic diet, hindi rin siya para sa lahat at hindi siya pang forever kahit pa good siya for weight loss. But it's not like you will be on ketogenic diet because ketogenic diet is by strict name, no, it's actually a fast mimicking diet. So para niya minimimic yung pagka-fasting o pag-aayuno. And as much as we love fasting, hindi rin natin everyday kailangan mag-fast buong buhay natin. Feasting, eating, resting, at kung ano-ano pa. So, hindi lang puro fasting lang. So, pinopromote natin yung safe fasting, yung therapeutic or nutritional fasting for those na never pang experience how good it is yung bibigyan season from all-time harvest season. And this time, bibigyan natin ng pagkakataon to burn all of those energy na sobra ng taga-imbak ng ating katawan in preparation for fasting season. So, yon. But for those na I know, no, meron, alam nyo bang nakaka-addict yung fasting? At yung nakaka-addict yung fasting is kailangan ginagawa na nila all year round. So, hindi naman tama yun kayo. Baka mawala yung meron dapat balance. So, as much as we love fasting, we love nutritional ketosis, there should be also a balance. So, balance of catabolism and anabolism. Ibig sabihin, merong balanse sa ating katawan where it stores energy, nag-iimbak, nagsisave up, and then there's also time of spending, just like tayo, and we have already enough savings, then that's the time that we can already also enjoy and spend for those na And we are back. Nandito tayo ulit. Grabe talaga yung bagyo, no? And then, yeah, nandito lang kami. Are you okay there, Ming? What are you doing? Bago? Or adjusting the first one? Wow. Amazing. Si Maming gumagawa ng ng lampara. So cute. Bigyan mo ko ng finished product mo, Ming. Or you need help, tutulungan kita. Marunong akong gumawa niyan. Saan po may bagyo? Yung bagyo ay nasa here, Visayas. So, nakikita nyo yan. Yan. So, if we will zoom that, nasa, ngayon yung bagyo? O, nasa Bohol na siya. Yung eye ng bagyo is nasa Bohol na. Expected daw, mapupunta siya ng Cebu around mga early morning, early AM. And then, dadaan talaga siya ng Bacolod, nandito yung Bacolod, nandito kami. So, nasa path talaga siya ng bagyo. So let's just pray. Okay, na sana walang casualties sa panahong ito. And let's just hope and pray na dadaan lang siya at hindi siya makaka cause ng damage, especially with life. So yeah, thank you so much for being with us. Low carb doctor in Cavite or near Cavite. Hindi ako familiar sa geography ng Manila. Batangas, Meng. Malayo yun sa Cavite, Meng? Hindi mo rin alam. So, nandun. Try to search na lang. Dr. Brian Castillo. Brian Aubrey Castillo. And then yung Facebook page nila, Doc, sa kanilang clinic. EBC Wellness Clinic. So, pwede kayong magpabook doon. And also, you can support yung nagla-live parate. Real Talk, Low Carb Real Talk with Kuya Gibo and Doc Bry Castillo. So, pwede yon. So, yeah, Doc Brian. And then, marami. Elsie pa rin. Bisag Bagyo, Doc. Oo, Elsie, yapon. So, the things that we cannot do anything about. So, just like yung bagyo, wala tayong magagawa dyan. It's nature. So, kaya anong kailangan natin gawin? Magmumukok ba tayo? O matatakot na lang tayo? And then, I cannot do anything else right now kasi brown out. Wala rin ako magagawa. So, might as well do something productive and share with you kung ano. And it's something that can take our minds off this and hopefully mabigyan ng konting positivity and yung bagyo ay hindi tumigil at mag-cause at umalis na siya or umakyat siya somewhere na sobrang itaas na wala ng tao doon. So yeah, ano pa rin tayo? Low carb pa din. Pwede ba gumamit ng stevia instead of sugar? So, Sweeteners, always check our JGC Rojo food list. Check nyo lang yan in Facebook para makita ninyo. Okay? So, yon kasi when you use sweeteners, okay, actually meron ako dito. Kasi kumain kami ni Maming ng low carb polvoron. Ano yung kinuha natin? May almond flour. So, plain almond flour. Tapos nilagyan namin ng butter. Yun lang, ininit lang. And then, para maging dessert, kasi uminom kami nung Turkish coffee, na naalala nyo yon, yung binili kong Turkish coffee, yung pasalubong ko kay maming galing Dubai, hindi pa niya nainom. So, ngayon lang namin nainom, ay wala na, nasan kaya yon? So, gumawa kami noon, yun yung dinner namin. So, low carb polvoron, almond flour lang, pure almond flour with butter. Sobrang sarap ming, no? Nilagyan namin ng cacao nibs para merong crunch. Mapait nga lang. Pero it's good. It's good with our Turkish coffee. So, sobrang sarap. And that's the first time that I used stevia for the longest time. Hindi ako nakagamit niyan. Even if while I'm traveling 45 days, hindi ko siya nagamit. So, always use it with caution and hindi parate because it can stimulate sweet cravings. Baka magkaroon kayo ng cravings. So, if you still are healing, advisable to not get involved with anything in our caution list during the first 4 weeks para safe tayo. Okay? But if you are already good and at the top of your health and you know how to manage your cravings well, then you can do that. It's up to you. Ang ayuda ron ni Captain Doc, puros rice. Sus, naunsa man si Captain. Oy. Pero, tay mabuhat, anak, kay mao, man yun ang Pinoy. Kung di mo taga-agbugas, maglagot. So, that is why I think you are exemption because you already know na you don't need rice so much. Kung pwede nga lang, no, convert to cash, but we understand it doesn't work that way. And yung rice natin, I don't know, what can you do with that? Okay? Yung isang pwede magawa dyan, save it na lang for super rainy days na kung wala na talagang makain or whatever. But generally, for me, I'd rather fast than eat rice. But that's just me. Okay? Wow, thank you, Antonia. Malapit lang pala yung Batangas at Cavite. Okay, pagpasensyahan nyo na po ako. Hindi kasi ako pumapasok masyado noon. Basta about geography and history. bulakbol na estudyante. Diabetic na namamanhid ang paa. Ano ang gamot? Yung gamot, doktor nyo, bibigyan na kayo ng gamot. But me, what I want is for you to ask, gaano karami yung pagkain nyo ng kanin, pagkain nyo ng kamote, pagkain nyo ng tinapay, pagkain nyo ng oatmeal, pagkain nyo ng, saging, and try to check. Baka nasusobrahan kayo. And that can cause a lot of complications in your body and that can cause pamamanhid. So, ano yung pamamanhid? So, pag-usapan natin yan in our previous videos. It's polyneuropathy. It's diabetic polyneuropathy. And that is the cause of too much sugar, too much glucose. And yung too much glucose, yung nangyayari niyan, pumapasok sila sa nerves ninyo, sa inyong ugat. And nako-convert sila into sorbitol. And then yung sorbitol, it is a water attractant. Nag-absorb siya ng water. So after that, yung nerves niyo nagsiswell. Okay? So namamaga. After pamamaga, it can stay that way for 2 weeks. And if ever hindi kayo mindful at everyday kayong uminom o kumakain ng marami pang glucose, so yung swelling or pamamaga na yon, it is being sustained. Naso-sustain yon. So continuous lang yung pamamaga and then eventually, it can get damage. At yon, yung nerves natin, kasi dalawa yung klase yung nerves natin eh. Actually, marami. But for the sake of this conversation, merong 2 major, motor and sensory. Yung isang nerve, motor, meaning nagpapagalaw. So, it allows us to move our hands. Yung isa, sensory. So, yung motor is from our brain going to periphery. So, for example, galing sa ating utak, magko-command siya sa kamay natin to move. And then there's other sensory. Galing sa kamay, papunta sa brain. So it's the sensation. So it gives, merong different kinds of sensation. Merong tactile. Alam mo kung hinihimas. Merong pain. Pain. So kung pain, alam mo kung merong masakit. Meron ding pressure, sensation. So alam mo kung merong pressure na nilalagay. And those sensory nerves are the ones that are easily get damaged. So that's why yung mga diabetic, hindi nila alam na nakaapak na pala sila ng thumbtacks, na nakaapak na pala sila ng nails, and nakita nila may butas na, may infection na, meron ng gangrene, nagnanana na, kasi nga hindi na nila nararamdaman. And yeah, it can be related to lack of B complex, but more so it is related to sugar intoxication. Parang nalalasing na yung nerves sa too much sugar. And that's why before ko kayo bigyan ng gamot, try to check muna what's in your plate. Kung anong nasa pagkainan ninyo at kung ano yung nilalagay nyo sa inyong plato at kung ano yung sinusubo ninyo at kung ano yung nilulunok ninyo, because that will dictate a lot with your blood sugar control and your overall level of inflammation sa katawan. Try nyo po i-search. Marami na po tayo dyang videos on low carb for diabetes, algorithm ng mga pagkain, and hindi po ito gawa-gawa lang. Now, American Diabetes Association already includes low carb and very low carb as part of medical nutritional therapy na pwedeng pang-adjunct yung ating low carb food intake para sa ating pag-monitor at pag-maintain ng stable, normal, low level of blood sugar. Hello, Marichu from Bahrain. Adlay, try to check for the net carbs in Google. Makikita nyo, mataas pa rin yung net carbs ni Adlay. Of course, it's a little lower than rice, but it is still too much carbohydrates. And one thing also na parang funny about those alternative na mga carbohydrates ba or rice alternatives, sometimes if we think that it's better than rice and then people tend to eat it on bulk, sobrang dami. So they actually end up eating more net carbs than they eat rice. So kung nagra-rice sila, siguro 2 kutsara na lang, 3 kutsara. And then suddenly, meron silang ni-replace na rice alternative like that, adlay or couscous or basmati rice o kung ano man. And then later on, they tend to overeat it. So, yun. So that's why the best way to go about rice is do not look for replacement and alisin mo lang siya. Yung paborito kong rice alternative are egg rice, meat rice, karne rice, manok rice, chicken rice, or whatever. So, I don't care. I don't care about rice. Ulam lahat. Tapos, nag-a-assign lang ako. Yung baboy, yun yung ulam ko. Yung isda, yun yung rice ko. O yung isda, yung ulam ko. Yung itlog, yung rice ko. Ganon. So, yan. Mahilig ako mag-jogging. Palagi ako nanonood ng video nyo. Maraming salamat, June. Sana na meron kang nakitang improvement sa inyong health. From Dubai, Turkish coffee. Yeah, doon ko binili yon, Turkish coffee. Sobrang sarap. Iba siya. Bango. Bango. Malinis. Tsaka, ewan, maganda. Masarap. Alam ko kasi hindi ako makakatulog tonight eh. Especially with this typhoon. Hindi ko alam nga na meron palang totoong typhoon talaga. Marami nang nagsasabi kahit nung nasa Iloilo pa lang kami. Buti na lang nakauwi kasi after pala nung trip namin, parang bawal ng bumiyahe because meron na ngang signal number 1. Coconut flour, pwede naman as long as kayo talaga ang magpa-process nito into like goodies or kung ano man. Hypothyroidism, hypertension, hay fever, mag-low carb and fasting, paano yung medicine maintenance pag naka-fasting? So, hindi yan ganun kadali because you're already taking medications. That's why you have to work with your trusted physician or our low carb doctors. Marami tayo dyan. We have Dr. Lisel Ganancial, meron tayo Doc Fee Attention, Doc Mike Attention, Doc Brian Castillo, we have Doc Kim Saskia Gumalo, and hopefully kapag matapos ng ating masterclass, mas marami na tayong doctors na magjo-join. Kasi marami nang naka-join. So, higa muna ako. Sandali lang. Sobrang, makita niyo yung double chin ko dito. So, masakit na yung leg ko eh. Okay? So, sana tayo. Baka biglang mamatay yung ko ha. Yung Turkish coffee is so good. I drink too from Dubai. Hindi pala tayo nag-iisa kaya tayo nasarapan sa Turkish coffee. Masarap talaga. It's different. Parang feeling mo meron siyang kasamang herbs na iba, pero wala. Yung tingnan ko yung kanyang ingredients, ano lang talaga, roasted roasted coffee grounds. So, masarap. Pareho tayo ni Pressy. Masarap. Isa lang, nagsisisi nga ako. Isang pack lang yung binili ko. Kasi for trial lang naman. And yung kasama namin, si Doc Andy, yung biro namin, siya, half Turkish by heart. So, parati kasi siyang pumupunta sa Turkey noon. And it's the first time in years na nakainom siya ulit. And he was so happy. And happy kami that we get to enjoy that coffee tonight. Grabe, nandito talaga si Maming, oh. Actually, eto, Turkish coffee. Yung amoy niya, kapag hindi po pa siya ininom, parang weird. Para siyang mga kung anong spices. Pero kapag ininom mo na siya, iba, masarap. So, dried stevia leaves. So, ikaw talaga, tanim nyo ba yung stevia plant na yon? Kasi it's a leaf eh. So, good. Ang galing naman. For those na may lupus, so perfect po yan in our ongoing masterclass. Kakatapos lang, so you can actually watch it on demand na. So, hindi ibig sabihin tapos na yung masterclass, hindi nyo na ma-enjoy. Actually, it's even much better kasi pwede nyo na siyang madaliin. Hindi na kayo maghihintay kung kailan i-upload yung day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 because once the masterclass is already complete, you can watch it. You can binge watch it. Per episode, per day, is only 20 minutes of video, of learning video. And so far, sobrang nakakatuwa yung feedback ng mga naka-join sa masterclass. And I can't wait to hear their healing stories. And including dyan yung lupus, SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus. I have patients na yung mga symptoms ay nakokontrol with proper nutrition. Watching here from Rizal, stay safe. Tama nga. Bawal lang lamang loob. Hindi naman bawal yung lamang loob. Actually, lamang loob are very healthy. But bawal yung lamang loob and all of the other foods if parati kayong naka-high carb. But eating organ meats in moderation, 100 grams lang per week. Hindi kailangan sobrang dami ha. Just 100 grams a week is already enough. Pair it with other meat. So, yun yung magandang pwede nyong gawin. Okay? So, yeah, that is good. Quinoa, yeah, hindi siya low carb. It's still full of carbs. Quinoa is still full of carbs. So, pwede nyong kainin yan, but don't call your way of eating low carb kasi mataas pa rin yan sa net carbs. What you can do is check the net carbs in your Google. Makikita nyo dyan. If it's more than 5 grams per 100 grams, then it's too much. Yung quinoa, I think nasa 30 siguro. Nasa 30 grams yung yung carbs niya per cup. So better avoid. Okay? So coffee po ba? Okay po bang tuloy inumin kung naka-fasting? Yes. When it comes to our fasting, meron tayong tinatawag na clean fasting and yung clean fasting na yan, pwedeng water, plain tea, plain coffee. So, I think mag-iisang oras na tayo, no? Buhay pa ba kayo dyan? I mean, gising pa kayo. Kasi kami, gising pa. And wala, I don't know, magchichika lang kami ni Maming. Plateau na ang weight, nag-plateau yung weight. So, I think I've already made a video about that, kung ano yung gawin kapag nag-plateau na yung weight. Pero kitang-kita ko naman, oh, grasya. Ang sexy mo naman. Bakit ano bang pinaglalaban natin? Huwag na make sure na instead of losing more weight, you have to make sure that you are ensuring na yung muscle mass ninyo, yung inyong muscle sa katawan is enough. Okay? So, tingnan natin. Let's see. watching from North Dakota, USA. Hello, me. 3 years na ako, no rice, low carbs, pero minsan may pag-bloat pa din ako. Paano kaya yun? So, you have to check. That is why yung sinasabi natin, hindi enough na low carb lang. Dapat make sure you are eating the good quality proteins, healthy fats. And if meron kayong bloating, try to check. Baka meron kayong food intolerance. Baka meron kayong tawag nating leaky gut or SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Kasi yun yung common na manifestation. Low carb pero baka nasusobrahan sa certain vegetables na merong mataas sa anti-nutrient content. Okay? So, na tennis ball. Ano nga yung tinatawag na tennis ball sa braso? Ano yun? Frozen shoulder? Yun ba yun? Hindi ko alam. But if frozen shoulder, yung hindi na magalaw yung shoulder, yeah, I think per meet and greet in Subic, in Dubai, in Cebu, and Davao, Manila, and Iloilo, every meet and greet, parang merong at least one participant doon na merong frozen shoulder noon. And yet, nawala na when they did low carb. So, yung iba, gulat na gulat, they are trying to ask me how to explain it. And it's just very simple. All of those things are just inflammation. Inflammation lang yan. At the moment you lower down your inflammation in the body, it's just expected to heal. Pero if you are looking at it isolated, titingnan mo kung anong nandyan, ganyan, then it's very hard. You can give a lot of medication for it, anti-inflammatory, muscle relaxant, and then it's not going to be sustainable, especially that those medications also comes with side effects. So, of course, no, you can work with your trusted physician to be safe, or you can also consult with our low carb physicians. Already, hindi lang ako kasama dyan sa ngayon because we are maximizing our time with our masterclass. Because with our masterclass, that is where I feel I can help so much more. And also doing live episodes like this because we are not just helping just one person. We are helping hundreds, thousands, and even millions. Kasi meron tayong mga videos na nakaabot ng million views. 6 million, 2 million, 3 million, nakakaabot. So, hindi man sila lahat naniniwala sa low carb, but at least for the first time in their lives, nakarinig sila na pwede palang mabuhay ng walang rice. So, that is already good enough for us. Planting a seed of curiosity for them to check kung paano nila mai-improve yung kanilang life span. Natatakot ako, meron akong na-feel baka may kung anong whatever sa aking paa. Sige. And maraming varicose veins. So, it's mostly, yun yung tawag natin. Ano yun? Wait lang ha. Tataas ko muna yung paa ko. Kasi takot ako sa kung anong nandyan na gumagalaw sa aking paa. Baka merong, ano ba, daga o ewan. Baka nagpapanik rin yung mga daga. So, ano ang dapat kainin, atong hindi dapat kainin? Check our food list. JGC Rojo food list. VD Rangoin. You're watching on YouTube. I think meron tayong video na na-upload dyan. JGC Rojo food list explained. So, try to check that. Inisa-isa natin yung food list natin dyan. And try to avoid the ones in the caution and danger list if ever na parami yung kain nyo nang doon. Go with the safe list, okay? Psoriasis, we've discussed that many times, is just under autoimmune or immune system diseases. So yeah, related pa rin yan sa ating inflammation in the body, and also merong mga certain foods even in our safe list na pwedeng hindi ganun ka-safe when it comes to our autoimmune diseases. So I invite you to join our low carb and fasting masterclass for allergy, inflammation, infection, and autoimmune diseases. So, silang lahat under one masterclass lang. Pwede kayong mag-message sa ating LCF Masterclass by yours truly. Yung admins natin, Admin Angela, Alvin, Andrew, Mabi, Tintin, and many more are there to assist you. So, nandyan si Admin Jainber, Admin Gracie Liu, and then Admin Harriet, and Admin Arki. So, they can assist you the moment you message LCF Masterclass group or page, because ginawa namin yan to make sure na wag kayong magpaloko sa iba. please make sure you make sure that your investment is good. Hindi ko alam kung sobrang ano ba, medyo maingay na ba yung hangin. Pwede mag-low carb yung nagda-dialysis? Okay, opo naman. Pwede naman yan. All the more that they need to because yung mga nagda-dialysis, kahit pa tinasabi nating end stage na yung kanilang kidneys, but actually what we need to protect more is yung other organs nila. Yung kanilang puso, yung kanilang atay, yung kanilang brain, because patients who are on dialysis, hindi naman yung the way they succumbed, actually hindi related directly to kidney failure because or yung parang nagkaroon ng end stage ng kidney toxicity kumbaga because they are frequently on dialysis, but usual cause of death like my tito na on dialysis, I think he died of heart attack and liver failure while continuously naka 2 to 3 times a week na dialysis. So that's why hindi pa too late for them to change their lifestyle because kapag ganyan nga, kapag naka-dialysis na, it's not yet the end. It might be the end for the kidneys, but it's not the end for the heart, for the brain, for the liver, and for all of our internal organs. So yeah, same with cancers. Check our food list, but for the specific protocol, meron tayong Cancer and Tumors LCF Masterclass for that. Just know that cancer cells thrive, divide, and prosper when you are feeding them with too much sugar. Ang spam, hindi ganon kataas sa carbs, pero sobrang taas sa inflammatory ingredient. So, it's processed foods. Yan, nakaka-cancer yan eventually. So, yeah, maraming ganon. And so, I think that is enough. It's already 1 hour for tonight. Good evening sa lahat. Maraming salamat for staying with me. I hope you were able to get something from this night. Okay? And for those na merong individual concerns, you have to work with your physician. Nandito na yung finished product ni Maming. Oh, it's so cute. Ang galing-galing. Kaya lang itim daw yung ilong mo dito. So, yan. Si Maming gumawa niyan. At kaming lahat magkakapatid, marunong gumawa nito. In case, kung mangangailangan ng emergency at walang lampara, we know how to make this. We have a lot of fond memories growing up kasi sa probinsya, usong-uso yung nagba-brown out parate. And every time, hindi kami kinukulang sa ganito. And we always have brand new. Bakit marami tayong brand new, Ming? Nababasag ba o nawawala? Bakit parati tayong gumagawa nito before? Or nami-misplace lang? Because I remember from time to time, like maybe after a month or so, gagawa na naman kami ng new sets of this. So, just this day, 4 na, Meng, yung nagawa mo, Meng? Ha? Tatlo. Tatlong ganito. So, yeah, meron na kaming ilaw. So, marunong kaming gumawa niyan lahat. Tinuruan kami ni Maming. Nagpabili siya ng gas kanina. So, yeah, thank you so much. So, low carb, specifically ketogenic diet, is the first approach actually for epilepsy, especially childhood epilepsy, intractable seizures in children, supplementation with MCT oil, virgin coconut oil, and work with your pediatrician. Sana lang open-minded yung inyong pediatrician that they can monitor you and adjust your dose, your anti-seizure drugs para hindi ito mabigla. Hindi pwedeng bigla-biglang kunin because that can lead into grave danger. Okay? So yeah, hindi lang po GERD, hindi lang po weight loss, hindi lang po cholesterol, hindi lang po fatty liver, hindi lang high blood, hindi lang blood sugar. Kung I know, kung pakikinggan nyo, parang too good to be true yan. Pero yeah, I understand if ayaw nyo maniwala. But in our community, Life Without Rice, low carb feasting and fasting community, and especially within our LCF masterclass where I dedicate my time right now, you will see their miraculous healing, almost like a miracle. But it's actually just our body, yung natural body natin, which is actually very miraculous. It's a God-given body. It's miraculous, it's divine, but it cannot work. It's magic. It cannot work. It's divine works of healing if we keep on poisoning it with the wrong foods. So we have to choose the right foods. Check hashtag JGC Rojo food list para sa list of foods na pwede ninyong makita. Try ko dyan. Saan na yun? I cannot see. Na-delete ko na ba yung JGC Rojo food list na yon? Yeah, you can just check that and you will see kung saan yon napaparami yung inyong kain about it. So, but for those of you who need medical guidance and kung meron ng diagnosis na illness at meron ng iniinom na gamot, better to do it the guided way. We now have a growing number of low carb doctors, practitioners who can help you. We also have our coaches that can help you. And we have the low carb and fasting masterclass for you na merong mga sakit na lifestyle diseases to help you with it. And for those naman na kahit walang sakit but just want to improve their health, want to improve their overall functioning, and then lessen yung risk nila of getting sick, especially with the pandemic. Although pandemic now is somewhat lowering down, then you can just join our 14-day health optimization masterclass. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat. Sino nagpapa-shoutout dyan? Meron ata akong nagpapa-shoutout. Hindi ko na nakita. Medyo constipated. Maupay Vlog UK. Kailangan yata fiber. Baka nasobrahan sa protein. Kindly watch my YouTube video on constipation on low carb. I discuss it there. Okay? But hindi kailangan magbawas every day. Yun lang yun. You don't have to force yourself. Eat. Don't be afraid to eat meat. Don't be afraid to eat fats, especially kung wala namang contraindication na directed talaga. And then, if you want, you can try to have coffee in the morning or tea in the morning. And then you can also increase your resistant starch intake, yung raw resistant starch. I will discuss that in another video. For fiber, it's hindi kailangan, hindi siya consistent. Not everybody works well with fiber. Like for me, I don't need much fiber. I even get bloated when I eat a lot of fiber. Eggs and chicken can be inflammatory, but they can be very inflammatory if you eat them with high carbs. More than the eggs and chicken, mas inflammatory pa rin yung sugar and carbs. So, but if you are sensitive to them, you can also avoid those dairies and poultry products, especially yun ay mostly embedded with hormones. But if you can raise your own, kayo mismo mag-alaga ng chicken and eggs, then free range and organic, then maybe okay na okay. Good morning, Mommy Ruth. Thank you for watching. Ako may asthma. So, meron. Ito, basahin natin before we end. Simula, baby po ako. May asthma na po ako. Ngayon, 33 years old na. Nagkaroon po ako ng high blood pressure, mataas cholesterol, July 13. Sabi po, mag-lipid profile ako. At mataas po ang aking cholesterol after 3 months po. Bumaba na. So, binigyan ng losartan, binigyan ng rosuvastatin. At after 3 months, nagpa-lipid profile, bumaba yung cholesterol ko. But hindi ko na mabasa kung ano yung continuation. So, kindly, tingnan na lang sa comments. Hindi ko na mabasa kung ano yung, but I hope you are doing well. How young po kayo? What's your height if you don't mind? Medyo personal, no? So, yan, yung edad ko, hindi naman yan sikreto. 33 na po ako. Height, hindi ko alam. Nasa 5'5", minsan 5'5", minsan 5'6". Pero meron ako nakikilala, dinideclare nila na 5'7" daw sila. Pero magkasing tangkad lang kami. So, I don't know. So, hindi ko alam. Pero I think at least 5'5" yung height ko. Once a day lang, thank you. Once a day na lang ako kumakain. Di ba? Okay na okay. Arlene, di ba? Tipid pa. I want to join the masterclass. So, message nyo lang po yung ating admins in LCF Masterclass by yours truly. Maming, si Ma'am Fanny San Miguel, nagpa-regards. Hi, Maming. Still up si Maming. Yes, still up po. Si Fanny, siya yung nagbigay ng balot at itlog na pula. Magkaibigan kayo. Come here. Oh, nandyan si Maming. Oh, naka-apron pa. Ano yung ginawa ni Maming? Yan si Maming, gumagawa ng kinky.
I'm making my fourth
Fourth na? Fourth
years
lampara?
in fourth lampara.
Baka sabi nila, pinapagod kita.
Hindi,
naman, no?
masayang-masaya
Ano
ako
yung paraphernalia mo dyan? Ano yung dala mo? Stick.
Yung
Ito yung panggawa niya ng pangtusok sa sa
yung
thread, sa
oo,
wick.
papunta sa
Para gumawa tayo ng ano.
Hi,
Mamaya-maya
Penny!
yung aming bahay siguro yung pinakamaliwanag dito sa buong street namin. Yes. Later na Pinky dulong pa. Bapi is also up. So, yeah, chika-chika na lang tayo. Pwede ba yung autism sa mag-low carb? I'm not sure if nasa Netflix pa. So, yung The Magic Pill, it's actually a documentary movie video also on low carb. And part nun is on children with autism. And actually, we also have experience with children na the moment we put them on low carb, kumakalma talaga sila. And the moment they were able to eat sugar and carbs, nako, nagzo-zoom around, hindi makontrol, their moods are very labile, super unstable. But when they are fueling on ketones, they're doing low carb, at least complex carbohydrates, walang sugar, walang matatamis, they are really stabilizing. So, kawawa yung mga bata if we don't give them the opportunity to be at their best, and the right nutrition is necessary. Okay? Wala ka ng gallbladder, okay lang. Wala na rin gallbladder si Maming. Pati yung ate ko, wala na rin gallbladder. And they are doing well with low carb, high fat even. Kailangan lang masanay. So, konti-konti. You just up your fat intake little by little. So, okay na yun siguro na. We can rest. Can we rest? And I hope you can continue to pray for the rest of the Philippines and for the rest of the world na sana okay lang at walang mangyaring kung ano-ano with this bagyo. So, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. For those just enrolled in your masterclass from Dubai, wow, I hope you get to finish it soon. And so we can also hear about your progress. I hope you will start healing. Barako? Yes, kaping barako without sugar. Nako, napakadaldal ko, no? Sige, hindi ko na babasahin. We will stop now. Kanina pa ako nag-goodbye eh. Mag-goodbye na talaga muna ako. We will continue on our another video, maybe tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe and keep yourself warm and cozy sa mga merong epilepsy or seizure. If you are afraid to do low carb or afraid to do ketogenic diet, at least eliminate lang muna yung mga simple sugars, chocolates, desserts, biscuits, the ultra-processed foods, the ones in our danger list. Kahit ganun lang, you can already see some improvement. And if you are prepared to, or if you feel like you need to do more and really optimize your health and you will need some guidance, we have the low carb and fasting masterclass, because we don't want you to risk your life by doing low carb the wrong way. I cannot assure you if low carb from the ones that you see in the internet, in Facebook, I know somewhat it can help, but for those who need serious healing, you might need proper guidance. And so far, the only ones I know and I can assure you that can help is the ones that I really dedicated to make. So the protocols that we help you educate when it comes to low carb nutrition and fasting for specific diseases was made in such a way for you to do it the safest way possible. Hindi natin kailangan madaliin. Okay? So always remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. And also, never forget to pray. Pray for yourself, pray for your family, pray for everyone. Because at the end of it all, tayong lahat ay connected. Iisa lang po tayo. We all came from one thread and just entangled, but we are all one. So this is my contribution in our life as one. And I hope you can do your part too, even just by prayers or just sharing this video, liking our page. At para sa mga taong hindi kuha ng notifications whenever we go live, kindly make sure that you follow our page and make it as your favorite and turn on notification. Also, including in our YouTube channel. And for those na gustong manood ng videos lang, videos, nasa YouTube channel po natin yan. If hindi pa kayo nakaka-subscribe, kindly subscribe so that you can help support this platform. So, maraming salamat everyone. God bless you. Good night. Good night, Ming. Good night, Papi. Bye-bye.